Indoor cycling, Zwift, racing, parenting. We cover those and all of our hopes and dreams in between. Welcome to the Talk Dirty to Me podcast, an entertaining look into the lives of everyday people trying to achieve virtual cycling glory from our basements and garages from around the world. This podcast is rooted in Zwift and has evolved into found friendships, fitness, health, and a little sprinkle of humor. This may be one of the only podcasts where a little heavy breathing shouldn't scare you away, because we're riding our bikes while we're recording it.
Well, hello everyone. It's been a while. Lots happened. It's been a couple weeks since we recorded anything. And as you can see, we have a full house today. We got Sully. Welcome back.
Good morning.
No comment.
I'm trying to figure. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. If I'm supposed to do a workout, or I don't even have a Zwift subscription right now. So
Sully is lost into triathlete training. We're also joined by Fischer again and Fremont Latimer again, because they did something pretty cool. The Belgian Waffle ride, right?
I don't know if Alan would say it was cool or not. We'll see.
Well, I guess temperature aside, huh? But
which Belgian waffle ride?
Yeah, I learned this the other day. I was looking at it. There's a waffle, a wafer, and was it a wanker? No, not a wanker. That's different.
Wanna.
Well, and there's also we got 5 of them now across the country.
Different locations.
There's that in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan just got one.
And this was June 11th that you did this, correct? Yeah.
That's right.
So, total distance was what for you guys?
Total target distance.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh. 13,000 feet.
Yeah, just you said 13,000 feet of climbing. Correct. Yeah. All right.
Holy cow.
What was the maximum grade? Do you know?
Oh. I know where it was. I don't know what it was. Greater than 20.
Greater than 20. Elevator status? Escalator?
Well, but worse, because
Right.
The steepest road bit was still 20%, but the actual steepest parts of the course were also on literally boulders this big. I mean, they were bigger than grapefruit size. I've got a picture of the guy ahead of me walking his bike up. This is where my whole day just totally came apart. But yeah, steep and on What's up, you walk alive?
No, nobody blames you.
So what kind of equipment were you guys using for this ride? I'm assuming a gravel bike.
Sounds appropriate, Dad.
It would, but perhaps some wide tires, low pressures, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Increase your rolling, your traction.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Have something with probably 40 mil was about the right.
Yeah.
About the right. Cut the sweet spot with size.
That's what I did.
Crazy.
I so gravel by 40 millimeter. I went a little knobbier on the tires. Technical gravel stuff. Not my strong suit. I was confident that I could make up for any increased rolling resistance.
Now,
I did some
Alan,
of the-
for the reference for Keith Miller, that banana-colored bicycle behind you may actually be your gravel bike, correct?
that is correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and I even did some of the Victoria airliner. It's the insert that goes in the tire. So if you get a flat, you can kind of keep riding on it for a little bit. Which I've ridden some parts of this course and knew that some of it was pretty big, gnarly, rocky bits, and the chance of flatting were high. And wanted to make sure I could at least limp the bike to the next place to, before I needed to go to work on changing whatever needed changing.
So I'm curious, because of previous conversations, I have a question for each of you. I think I'll ask Fremont first. How much time did you spend in a trash bag? You can feel free to say no comment if you want. We'll protect your anonymity.
That,
No, we won't.
Yeah, the trash bag is usually just my work week domicile, Tuesday through Friday.
Okay.
I luckily did not have to sleep. Lots of walking.
There you go.
Getting close to dark,
But didn't quite get there.
Unfortunately.
Thankful for that summer sun, huh?
Pineapple.
Exactly.
Pineapple.
You can pineapple me all day long, man. I was crawling, but man.
He's like, I'm going my own pace. Doesn't matter. And then for Alan, I guess my question is, how much coffee did you drink on the ride?
Ooh, on the ride.
Did you have your AeroPress?
I did not.
Instant, man. Instant.
Yeah, I did have some instant on the way to the race for sure. I will say the bit of this I did get to ride was intense. It was not a leisurely ride. So, picture a very hard road race in your head for hours.
And substitute gravel and boulders
Right.
for the terrain.
Oh,
Guys, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Alan and I have got very different stories for a couple different reasons. One, we were racing this much differently. Alan was racing it. I was surviving it. So to give you an idea of the speed differential, you get to the second rest stop, which is 40 or something like that. I got there 2 hours on the nose. And it was a loop, so I see the lead group coming the other way. At 10. Because they were coming downhill. It was pretty awful. But I checked the time. It was right around 2 hours. By the time I made it back there, it was 2:50. They had put 50 minutes into me in 2 hours. And I think, Alan, you were in the second group, right?
Yeah, I was in the second group at that point. And I got the best bottle handoff of my life. from a lady at that aid station. So this is like, Drew, picture the aid stations at the Grand Pondo where like you can sit and hang out and drink some Coke and eat some sandwiches. That's what most people are doing, but kind of at the front it was straight through, and it's this kind of old lady. It's on the side of the road. She's got a bottle, and we're coming through it 25 miles an hour. It almost injured me how hard she handed the bottle off. Like, I pulled through, and it was like, smile. Just wham! Grabbed the bottle, kept it. It was like Brett Favre handing off the bottle. It was incredible. It made my day. I, like, face lit up. I was expecting to go flying down the road. Stood up and like turned around and screamed at her. Great handoff. It was amazing. That's one of those very underrated things. It's like, it was a good bottle.
Wonder if she was as surprised about the handoff as you were. Wow, that guy was really moving.
Yeah. Her arm may have ripped off with it.
Oh my god. There was some force there.
That's awesome.
He was not losing that bottle. That's awesome.
So did you guys do any specific training going into this? Or just, I know Fremont likes to just let it rip. He's a man of will.
Lots of Zwift, maybe ride my bike here and there.
Yeah.
And, the only rule I have, I'm very loose on structure. I try to get 1 4-hour ride in a week.
Yep.
At least it's something like that.
That's a threshold ride, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Hang it at like 380 watts. Run from there.
I did not. I mean, this was not a target race for me at all. This really came from looking at the race calendar. My wife didn't have a race that weekend. I didn't have a race that weekend. My in-laws live very, very close to the course. And so my wife was like, you should sign up for it. It's like right there. It's so easy.
So easy.
Yeah. And this is going to be my biggest day on the bike ever, both in terms of mileage. I don't think I've ever ridden over probably 120, somewhere in that like 120 and 125 range. And I assumed it was going to take me about 8 hours. I don't think I've spent more than probably 7 on the bike. So it was, I've done plenty of 5-ish hour rides recently, but didn't try to like match those distances or anything beforehand.
Jeez.
Wait, do you guys want a quick break? You guys want a quick breakdown of statistics?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We're nerds. We love numbers.
Yeah.
So this is, again, Alan's numbers and my numbers, far different. So I was on the pedals for 10.5 hours. I think total course time was like 11:15 or something like that. Average speed 12.2, so blistering. 6,900 calories. 12,950 feet. Normalized power of 227. Let's see. Average heart rate of 130. And a TSS of 506.
Oh, God.
That's it's a little bit of a TSS there.
That's a day. Oh, God.
I didn't either.
How was the recovery, Fremont? Like, how long did it take you to be back to normal?
Let's see. So I didn't ride DRL on Tuesday. But, hold on, maybe I did ride DRL on Tuesday.
No, it was the TTT, right?
Let's contact your captain.
Yeah, I couldn't. I tried. I wanted to, but I don't think I could.
Attaboy.
Lazy.
And I think I might have done TT on Thursday. and that was my first day back with bike. So there's just a lot of laying around. And then I was on vacation for the week after. So
That worked out.
this is the longest break I've really had on a bike in probably 3 years since COVID started.
Where did you go for vacation? Just curious.
Northern Wisconsin,
Yeah.
which had some of the sweetest gravel in the world.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my bike with me. Terrible.
Missed opportunity, huh?
Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't get ill in the airport.
True.
You
Yeah.
got ill before the airport.
Did I? I guess I did. Yeah, you're right.
You
Greg is my personal physician.
you became symptomatically ill at the airport.
That's also true. For reference, I went on vacation to Mexico and got COVID in Mexico. So my voice sounds a little more husky today than usual. That is why.
Don't worry, you're at peak huskiness, sir.
Are you talking about my physique?
All of the above.
Oh,
We'll leave the rest for the
interpretation.
geeks and the Stevens to imagine.
So
how was Alan's ride?
Yes, I want Alan's stats.
I'll throw some slightly different statistics. So I went up there, met up with a guy I ride with here a lot, who just done San Diego and he'd done North Carolina last year. He kind of warned me ahead of time, like the first half hour is going to feel harder than you would expect. It's going to be people just go out really hard, and that first selection happens quickly. So, I came in like ready to roll. And, some of these technical sections, it's just because they were on private land, no one had ridden before. It's like none of us really knew what we were in. But conceptually, I knew I would be, dropping back during a lot of the technical stuff. It's just not my thing. I'm not a mountain biker. I hate mountain biking. But on all the rest of it, I wanted to be far enough up that if I had to drop back a few groups through the technical stuff, I'd still be in some pretty strong groups. And it's kind of like an efficiency arc of, finishing time, I think, or total effort. And I didn't want to be out there for 11 hours. So went out in the first 25 minutes or so with the lead group. Yeah, normalized power through that was like 295. So I don't know if that is in Waffles, like 4.2 or so. And then we hit the first really selected feature was a 10 to 15 minute climb on gravel, and that was where the first big selection happened. And even that, I was content to let the leaders ride away on that one, like holding, again, about just short of 300 watts average up the whole thing, and watching the leaders just motor away. So we formed kind of a good chase group after that. This field was kind of ridiculous, I'm not going to lie. But it's also why, they're at the beginning of an 8-hour race or 6-hour race or something like this. I don't know. On that climb, that first selection they had to have been on the order of 400 watts for guys my size. It was a serious effort. And then, so we went from that to, it's just kind of mixed gravel and road, rolling, some climbs, but nothing like monstrous. And so our first 50 miles, we averaged 19 miles an hour, on mixed surfaces and climbing and everything. So, and riding it like a road race, deciding who we wanted to keep in the group, sharing work and dropping some people, and yeah, and of course I even said the stupid thing that, through some of the gravel sections of like, oh, thank God, this is the kind of gravel we're riding today. Like, this is great. This is beautiful. Riding through like Saluda was gorgeous. Really nice to ride. And then somewhere around mile 55, like, it all fell apart for me. So I dropped my chain on, I don't know, we were descending for a couple miles, and it's a 1x, and there's this stupid narrow wide thing that SRAM does. So even though I was descending and could not pedal, I mean, I spent probably a solid minute trying to get the chain back on while rolling. It was just going to never happen. So I had to stop and put the chain back on, lost that group, and then there's another sustained climb that I had to chase back the whole way. And then we hit that first, like, walking gravel boulder field thing. And, it's just absolutely miserable. I mean, it was comical. I tipped over probably 3 times out of stubbornness, thinking I was going to ride up this thing, just at 0 miles an hour. Like, no traction, not enough power for the traction I had, whatever it was, just totally stopped. And, tipping. Eventually got off the bike and walked it up. And there was I don't know if you remember this, Fremont, there's a right turn where the road keeps going. I kind of went up the next road, turned around, got back on the bike, so I have momentum downhill and go back up through the rest of that climb. And then went from there to this other technical section that I also didn't enjoy at all. I think that led straight into that like farmer's field switchback. Is that right, Fremont?
Yeah, in the backside, it's just a mowed path. Going down switchback through grass. It's kind of like a cyclocross downhill.
Which I'm doing at like 3 miles an hour, and everyone behind me is so pissed off. There's not. I mean, you're going through. It's just like kind of crudely cut into this, super high grass. There's nowhere to pass or anything, and my legs were stronger than my technical abilities leading up to that point. So everyone behind me is catching me. I've just got a train of riders behind me, not content to be waiting behind the guy that's like very slowly navigating this.
That's your race to control.
Passed by the skinny people. And then we hit the downhill technical portion, not like pitch stepping, like out of the way, roadie.
And then payback came, right? Because I think almost immediately after that is where we hit like your nemesis climb, right?
Stupid Pinnacle.
Yeah, I think Pinnacle is right after that. So it's 6-ish mile climb on gravel. It's mostly like really sandy, washed out kind of gravel. Not a lot of actual chunky gravel on it. But it's sustained at kind of a moderate grade the whole way. It was another low point for me because as I'm now riding back up through groups of riders, I started to recognize where we were because I'd ridden out there a few weeks ago. And some photographer captured some pictures of me and put them up on the BWR site or BWR Instagram. My face is that like, I'm over this because I knew. So after you press Pinnacle and you're riding around in DuPont, there's another just again like massive boulders descent, and it's not long, but it's just beats the crap out of you, and the probability of my catching something wrong and going straight over the bars or just flatting on something, being stuck out there was very high. So that was a pretty miserable spot for me. I don't know if you enjoyed that a little bit more, being off the time.
Yeah, I did, as long as I wasn't going uphill, I was happy.
Then yeah, my day took the worst turn just after that. So the next part of DuPont, this beautiful section of gravel. I mean, well groomed. It's really nice. Just kind of like
about the descent.
after the descent, where it's just kind of like the light descent. It's like 1 or 2% downhill, and yeah, I was by myself at that point, riding along, and all of a sudden my rear tire was not under me. Still don't know if I hit something or what, but tried to bring it back under me twice and couldn't settle it, and yeah, went down on the gravel and hurt for sure. My hip was pretty unhappy, and yeah, kind of picked some gravel out and got back on the bike, and it was hurting pretty good. I'd also like taken a flap off my thumb, so I've got blood running down my arm at this point, and yeah, tore up my arm, so just kind of blood everywhere. But there's nothing to do out there but keep riding. So it's another, I don't know, 10 or 15 miles to the next aid station, I think. But
there's a gnarly crack between where you fell and the next aid station.
That's right, yeah. So there's this one section that's particularly cruel for everyone. So you're back on the road for a minute after you get out of DuPont, and then they put this stupid climb in there it's on the road. I don't know, it's 20 plus % for sure. I looked back at it later. So I was, for 2 minutes, I was just short of 400 watts. It was like 450 watts for a minute in the middle of it to just keep moving forward. I just wanted to knock it off my bike. I was hurting, bleeding, not in a happy place. I just wanted to keep moving, and it was that kind of effort for me. And then your reward is this crazy, stupid mountain bike technical single track with like a drop off next to you the whole way, and I was a special kind of miserable through all of that. I was hating life. Crashing aside, it was at that point like I was so over BWR. There's zero chance I would ever go back and choose to ride, especially those sections ever again. So I was making the determination of I'm going to finish today because there's no chance I'm coming back here to do this again. That's kind of the mindset I went into the next aid station with Fremont. How was that section for you?
There was that steep climb. You're talking about 25%. I made it not 25%, but I attacked the entire thing. So, I mean, if I'm doing 400 watts, I'm doing like 900 to stay upright. So I got up it. But then that single track section, so it's going down the side of a hill, switchback, and it's kind of beautiful, deciduous North Carolina forest, but it's a little muddy. Dude, it was sketch. It was fun, but it was just like switchback after switchback, going over rocks and boulders and real rolly, and it was all downhill, so it was actually pretty fast if you weren't on the brake. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and then when you go into the aid station, it's a barn out in the middle of nowhere, and they've got a drum line inside, like jamming. So it's actually super cool. You come in and you get nailed by percussion as you're riding by these people in the bar.
Because you're still in Asheville.
Yeah, still in Asheville.
To be clear,
And also, one thing about this race,
threw a bar. Like, in one side of the barn doors and out the other.
Sure.
Yeah, that's through the barn. It was a cool aid station. And
That's
I'll tell you
awesome.
what, man, the aid stations, I was not riding by and grabbing bottles. I was hanging them. So I got a chance to, chat with the locals. Dude, they were awesome. They had like full flask of goo gel, as much, as much like drink pre-mix, as much pickle juice as you could want to drink. It was great.
How much pickle juice would one want to drink?
So much. Pickle juice.
Bread and butter or dill?
Do you want
Definitely
a water bottle, a drink mix bottle, or a pickle juice bottle?
I will go pickle juice 9 times out of 10.
I'm with them.
I think that's a Jesse preferred
So with that-
hydration tip. Yeah.
So, Alan, is that where you called it?
No,
That rest stop?
I was still very determined at that point, and that was the first place they had EMTs. So I went over there to get cleaned up, and of course these guys are freaking out.
At your hip?
I mean, first at my I was trying to get it. So one of the cuts on my arm was a little bit deeper. Trying to get that cleaned out, and they're like, "Let us take a look at your hip." And sorry, so I kind of rolled my chamois. Yeah, they lost their minds. So I brought a show and tell instead of pictures. So the bad part of the cut was actually all the way up here at the top, and it just kind of looks like 2 little holes up here.
Yeah.
But that was just the size of the actual embedded pieces that they were pulling out there. So like size of your thumb, like pieces that were still after 15 miles, like
Just in you.
my hip.
Yeah.
Pieces of gravel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When dude said it looked like a wombat bite, which my daughter's got some wombat books, so that was a fun thing for me. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly looking. But it looked like it was 2 punctures mainly that were, about a centimeter across, maybe a little bigger. So they cleaned it out with, best they could. They bandaged it up. I drank a Coke and grabbed some water and got back on the road. It took them a long time to clean it all up. So got back on the road.
Did they at least also clean up your forearm and tape your thumb closed?
Yeah, I grabbed a piece of tape from them to just put over my thumb.
Yeah.
And then they cleaned up my forearm a little bit, and they bandaged my hip. So I got back on the road, and then you're on the road climbing up out of this aid station, and
For forever, by the way.
forever, yeah. And then I realized, it's getting to be, 80 degrees outside or warmer at this point, maybe. And I looked down and realized I'd lost a bottle. And the bottle I had wasn't totally full. I was kind of distracted at that aid station. And it's a long time to get back to that same aid station. But I knew where we were. And there's, a quarter mile, maybe less, off the course is Cedar Mountain Cafe, where I've recently been rescued with a double flat. So I rolled over there, asked them for, to fill my bottle, because getting caught out there with not enough water is a much worse day than needing stitches.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had their Wi-Fi and everything from last time I was there, and called my wife like, "Hey, didn't crash. It's probably not good. I'm gonna finish. It's gonna take a little longer than I thought. I'll let you know when I'm done." I got rolling again, and just about that. So, Fremont, you remember the first lap go left, second lap go right? That everyone got wrong.
Yeah, I almost screwed it up.
My buddy went the wrong way and had a 100-mile day instead of a 130-mile day.
Lucky him.
Well, it's super confusing. So, you've already done a loop of, you get to this fork in the road that says first lap go left, second lap go right, and you're like, well, I've already done a lap, right? I don't know if I've been at this section or this spot before. And a lot of people went right to the left, and there wasn't a marshal out there or anything. So, yeah, just after that, it started getting. There's a difference between the like post-crash dull pain and the this is sharp, this is bad. Like my body is telling me there's
Stop doing what you're doing now.
Yeah. The like danger pain. So I turned around and rolled back to Cedar Mountain Cafe.
That's the pain that is lovely suppressed by adrenaline. Yeah.
After a couple stops, the adrenaline starts wearing off, and
reality sets in.
Right. Yeah. And that was. I mean, turns out that my stubbornness was the wrong answer before that. Like, I called my wife and had her and her dad come pick me up, and we get back down to their house. It's just at the bottom of that mountain. And I go to get the shower, and it's my first look at it. Immediately, like, open the bathroom door. We're on an emergency room. And it wasn't two holes. What was in between was just a flap of all of the tissue. And it was down to the muscle the whole way. And
Oh my god.
they're not good. And I mean, also, when I looked down, I bled all through the bandages, all through my, like, it was bleeding a lot at that point. So
did they try to talk you out of continuing at the aid station, or?
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a thing that happens sometimes. I've run a bunch of ultra marathons, and there have definitely been times where people try to talk me out of still running.
I was
or at
going
least
to
like,
say,
why don't you sit here for a little bit? Why don't you take a nap?
nice try, kind woman. No.
Right.
How dare you take my well-being into your account?
Not today, Satan.
Not today's Satan.
So at this point, Fremont still has another 40 miles to go.
Oh.
Yeah. So you remember that climb we talked about, the one that I hate? We had to do it again. Yeah. So yeah, you got to do that climb again. And in further evidence of my poor climbing ability, some dude, he's a gravel racer. I think he got 12th or something in the race, and the guy's a baller. But he's got a YouTube channel, and he posted the first kind of like race recap of the race. I was like, oh, cool, go watch this. We need to kind of see the course, be clear in various sections. So he's on his second loop of that climb, which again is like, I'm an hour behind it on my first loop. He caught me on his video, passing me on his second loop, and I'm on my first. I look like I am standing still. And that was the first time I climbed it. The second time I climbed it, even if I could have gone on backwards, I would have. And then they shoot you off in the woods. It's a slightly different course. They shoot you off in the woods. They cut some fresh single track. That's all like switchbacks.
Oh,
and the switchbacks are flat. So each one of the switchbacks is like 25%. So you gotta like juice it to get up and around the corner every time. Which of course is making me cramp. So like every third switchback, I'm trying to period hold myself out. So yeah, limped through all that. Went back through that crazy single track. Back through the barn. At that point, the drum line had.
The drum line's like, we're not waiting on Fremont. That's not happening.
Yeah. And then coming out of that, so I was talking about going to the cafe, which is fine. Not mention how much the sign stuff. It was terrible. It's like 8% for 4 miles or something. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But and then I had to do that twice. I finally got to the top, and I took where the split was. That's when I actually took the right. And then the last like limping in. I guess we're at mile 90 or something like that at that point, or 100. The last bit it was North Carolina up and down, but it was nothing like none of the crazy bit. But I was limping along, and right towards the end, it was like 5% climb, and I was just stopping in the middle, like getting off on the side of the road. Like I couldn't stop breathing hard. Like, and then, finally limped in. But I think about a third of the. So it's kind of self-selected. Not a lot of people are going to sign up for 130, 13,000 foot course. And of those that signed up, I think about a third DNS, maybe a quarter, something like that. It was
Wow.
a pretty big chunk of riders. I mean, that was a rough course. I don't know. Now, you race a lot more than you do. So,
That doesn't seem like a great business decision.
Yeah.
Like if you want people to come back.
Let's design the most ridiculous course possible.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
God,
There's
I don't
always-
think Belgian Waffle is going to be using this for promo.
I was going to say, as much as we're like, this was so stupid and this was bad, and I'm just like, but everybody, you should sign up. You should do it. You should try it.
Yeah.
So we can put you on the podcast and hear how terrible it was.
That's right.
Yeah. Live vicariously through the stories.
So I think I'll go back. I just won't do the long one.
Yeah.
You're going to do the wanker ride?
I was going to ask if the wafer cuts out that double loop around the worst part.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it reduces the loop. I mean, it's still a ridiculous day at bike,
Sure.
but it's it's just like, you don't have that 40-mile crawl at the end
Right.
over the mountain.
I think it was Graham, right, who came out and said he was like, it's less of a race, more of an adventure ride.
Right.
Like, for Graham to say that, that's saying something.
I asked him if there were any fences that he could have jumped, but he didn't know.
So
That's
the
crazy.
guys who are actually racing, it's the dude that won, Pete Setna, former World Tour pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The highlight of my race was I was getting tacos in town after the race, and Pete Setna rolled up. So we
You go up to him and be like, bro, I was right there with you.
Did you guys bump tacos and be like, cheers, buddy?
tried to buy him the beer. He turned down beer. He probably drinks like gin and diet.
He's probably one of those guys that drinks those non-alcoholic beers.
Quitters.
Fools.
Sponsors.
You're about to find more beer for me. Just so I got there, and I was like, I want 16 tacos. And I sat down, and I was trying to eat, and my gut was so jacked up. I could only eat like 2 tacos. And then
Do you guys remember Taco John's did like a 6-pack and a pound for a while? Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
You're like, I would like 3 6-pack and a pounds, please.
Taco John.
I have no
You guys
idea
don't
what you're
have
talking
Taco
about.
yeah.
Taco John's is like the
Taco
mid-
Bell.
It's like
Midwest
Long John
answer.
Silver's and Taco Bell had a terrible child.
It's like the Del Taco of the Midwest.
It's still worse than Del Taco though. It's more like Carl's
I
Jr.
don't know
is like
I don't
we'll
know
do
Del
Taco Bell
either.
too.
It's like if a seedy Pizza Hut from 1980 just switched over and started making tacos one day. Like they changed nothing, but they just make
in
tacos.
the pizza ovens with the pizza ingredients.
Right. Yeah. And they serve potato olays. These things are glorious. Okay. They're the hash browns from Burger King with taco seasoning on them.
Oh.
They
Yeah.
sure are.
What are those, like that?
Like straight up Del Taco.
Taco Bell, there's like nacho fries.
So
No.
in retrospect, Sully, Taco John's is exactly what you think Taco John's would be.
Fremont, what was your fueling strategy? You said your gut was a mess. What'd you eat out
So it was
there?
actually, during the race, my gut was good. On any of these ultra endurance things, but for me, it was ultra because it took so long. You just got slammed calories.
Yeah.
So these aid stations were great.
So you were just
Tailwind.
taking whatever was in the aid station?
Put your hands up.
Tailwind. I like drinking my calories. So
Yeah.
Tailwind's like 200. So it's a little sachet packet.
Yeah.
You can mix in a bottle. So like 200 calories per. It's kind of my. go-to for one-day effort. So we used a couple of those in the beginning, but then they had some good stuff for the aid stations. I was slamming Coke. And I eat a banana here and there. That was fine. So it wasn't. I can't blame my feet on poor nutrition.
You can,
Actually,
just no one will believe you.
No, I can. It's not because I didn't have enough fuel during the day. It's because I had too much fuel prior. Hauling this carcass over the mountain takes some effort.
That's wild.
It's nuts. I think when it was just Drew and me and Alan on our misadventure last week, we talked a little bit about being in a pain place.
Yeah.
I didn't know, Alan, if you wanted to rehash.
You had a misadventure?
Yeah. A misadventure in podcasting.
Oh, that one.
Yes.
I am curious the headspace
yeah.
that you have whenever you're in pain, obviously injured. So feel free. Tell us what your thoughts are.
So I think the conversation was maybe the genesis was talking about Drew's Bondo, but when you get to this like kind of death march state, sometimes a lot of times it's it's nutrition related, like you're bonking, you're exhausted, or it's the like I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. I just want to go home. And that's something that I think ultra running is. I don't know. Half the point of ultra running is to get to that point and try to find the backside of it. But sometimes you can't. And even like I got dehydrated during the Wasatch 100 miler kind of early on. Just shoot straight up to like 11,000 feet and don't come back down below 10 for a while and just lose so much water. And identifying coming back was super rewarding. But just overall, like I think you're just talking about about counting pedal strokes, like just 10 pedal strokes. There are definitely points where, for me, kind of going to that pain cave, and counting to 10 is ambitious for me sometimes. I think it's just a matter of, running. It was always just one more step, like, one foot in front of the other. Just keep going, just keep moving. And on the bike, so when I used to race in college, I had this mantra of, if it's hurting you, it's killing them. And I just tried to trust my training. That if
Unless you're bleeding, then it's killing you. Yeah.
But I tried to trust my training and fitness and everything. And just, I don't know, I think it's kind of, have you ever seen Pumping Iron with Arnold?
Oh, yeah.
Like the old movie? Yeah.
Classic.
I think it's kind of like that. You're never going to enjoy that, I think, in the moment, being in that really dark place. But I think you have to get to the mindset of savoring getting to that dark place and then being able to keep moving or push through it, or sometimes break out of it and sometimes not break out of it and just carry that dark place all the way to the finish, and then go pass out next to the finish line and hope someone shove some food in your mouth at some point.
Yeah.
Is it?
On the card, I think as a West Point graduate, Alan, there's a quote from General Patton. I think they have it for like Army football. It's like, accept the challenges so you may feel the exhilaration of victory. And again, man, you got to get through it. You got to just, if you want the reward at the end, you got to suffer through it a little bit.
For sure.
So, my big motivator is I know, especially on a climbing race, my speeds are going to be unexceptional. But my duration can be exceptional, which overall leads to an exceptional distance.
11 plus hours in the
As
saddle.
as long as you go long enough,
There's
in
a
time you can make it. You can make it through it.
there's definitely a TWSS right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just saying. I'm not gonna let it go unsaid.
Unrecognized.
There you go.
That was because in the Fondo race, it was funny. It was the same idea where, like, I'm not a climber. It was the most climbing I've done in a ride ever. And I admittedly pushed my bike up the last few hills. And when we got to the end, I was talking to Steve Katuska, and he was like, yeah, he goes, whenever I get to that spot, he goes, I just start counting my pedal strokes. And then just start putting my head down and saying, all right, 10 more, 20 more. He goes, when I get to that 10, all right, I got 10 more. I can do 10 more. I was like, it's a genius strategy.
They do not end.
Does he ever say I got 5 on it? That's a reference to a conversation we've had.
It was not.
Doesn't say that. No.
Classic song.
Classic. I got 5. Anyway.
Classic.
It's interesting because cycling versus running, at least for me, I've never done crazy ultra distance, but I mean, I remember running and hating
More
it
than a mile.
when I was running a lot, and there's a very simple, immediate satisfaction you get when you're in the pain place, running, of being like 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, because you see it and you feel it and it's steady. And cycling, because your cadence is generally much higher than your running cadence, and because you don't feel that impact, it's like, okay,
It's hard to
you
count.
can't say 1 foot and feel any kind of gratification.
I think God's gonna bleep out in your running talk.
Well, it's just interesting. I had to adapt the thing that that I could focus on to count or to be my mark of we're still going. Let's keep going.
It's definitely a time thing for me. It's like, all right, just count to 30 or count to 45 or whatever.
Oh man,
You start counting really fast. You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So on the Belgian Waffle, I made this miscalculation, not realizing how bad the Wi-Fi was out there. So I had one downloaded playlist, and it was iconic 80s party. So the entire race was done to Cher and Tina Turner.
Yes. That is quite possibly the best thing about the entire race, I'm sure.
How long was that playlist? Was it 90 minutes? What are we talking
It was
about?
10 songs, right?
It's about 90 minutes, but it's like, yeah, if I can just get through Dragon County pedal tricks, I can get through Turn Back Time.
Yeah, if I could just get to turn back time one more time.
Oh my gosh. Could have been worse. Could have been like something that, your kids downloaded or something.
I would have been such a Frozen or
Kids Bop.
or Encanto or something.
Yeah, there you go. The Frozen soundtrack. Over and over. You just finally just throw your bike. I let it go. Shut up. Well, Greg, do you have a prepared
Absolutely.
statement?
Yeah, on my segment, absolutely.
As always, prepared.
The
Thank
Tony
you.
always has a statement prepared.
Sure does.
Hey, if you throw to Greg, he's going to talk about something. We're back at the Cavcast, as you know, where we follow everything Mark Cavendish does. He did recently win the British national title, which is
Road title, yeah.
impressive. Yeah, impressive, awesome. It was a frankly dominant race. If anybody watched it, he was not in Tiago Town. He was up in the thick, driving brakes, and then the final finish. I don't know if you guys watched this, but the final finish is hilarious. There's a moment. 3 final riders are all slowing to see who's going to brake first.
Yeah.
And they're all at they come down to maybe a half mile an hour. It's a joke. They're almost in track stands before somebody finally is like, okay, come on. Finish line's right there. We have to go. But Cavendish wins. But, I mean, Tour de France starts. Grand Depart is Friday. So, and Patrick Lefevre,
Bless you.
everyone's favorite Belgian mastermind, has left Cav off the team. And I just wanted to, this is sending
Much to Neil's
shockwaves.
celebration.
Yeah. Sending shockwaves through the cycling community. Not really, because everybody knows that Fabro's kind of a prick. Sorry. You may need to mute that or censor that.
You said with a P, right? That's fine.
Yes.
It's like a needle.
But also just so many questions of why and what are you thinking? And then as an added barb, we don't have to dive into this too deep, but Alaphilippe is left off as well.
Yeah.
He did have a nasty crash, but I think he raced again. I mean, he raced in the French Road Nationals and did not perform poorly.
He sure did.
And also, he's the big, bright, shining French star on that team who has won stages each of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And curiously, Lefebvre, the Belgian, has left him off of the Tour de France. So, anyway. Discuss.
I haven't heard any uproar about that one, though. Like, I think people just assume he's not ready for a 3-week stage race.
Sure. He made some statement. It's like a footnote in all the articles talking about Cavendish, though, because he made some comment about, like, it was pretty disappointing. I am very, very French. And this is a very important race to me every year. But I understand, blah, 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 team line.
Very, very French as opposed to like French Canadian. That's like partially French.
Well, there was that, was it 3 years ago that he spent how many stages
10
in
days.
yellow? And
Yeah.
everyone was like, everyone in France was, getting
Long time.
their very best old champagne ready. And I mean, everybody knew he was going to lose it, but he just kept hanging on to the yellow. It was, I don't know, it was exciting.
So they left Cav off because they've got that young sprinter who's won like everything.
Yeah,
basically, right?
Groenewegen.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Jacobsen.
Fabio
Or
Jacobsen.
Jacobsen.
Stark, yeah.
Fabian.
Nope.
But
Still
there's not another like
That's a climber.
Alaphilippe.
No, it's not. So who is it?
Jacobsen.
Jacobsen.
Fabian Jacobsen.
But they're
Anyway.
He's not any good. I don't even know his name.
Well, they're
Didn't
kind
pass the
of
Fremont litmus paper.
Yeah, they're kind of putting a target on their back, not taking anybody that's kind of
Yeah,
interested. Well,
GC
is sort of normal for them, but
right.
without kind of the two guys, they're going to take a stage, and they've already had a pretty terrible year.
Right.
Yes.
Who was the other rider?
Yeah.
Asgreen. They still have that guy Casper Asgreen, who's a breakaway kind of guy, but
Yeah, he's a great
Who knows?
one-day racer.
that's what's always makes it fun.
So I think I've already sounded off on the internet. So I think it's stupid that they didn't bring Cav.
Did you tweet it? I didn't see your tweet.
No.
Oh.
I should call it the intranet. It's just
Jeez.
Discord.
The Discord net.
Yeah. But Alan, you seem to think it was right of them to leave him off and take Jacobsen.
No, I mean I understand the decision making. If they're trying to like
Sure.
build a franchise guy or whatever the cycling terminology is for whatever. But
Right.
Team building.
it makes a little bit more sense. Like I get it. I still wouldn't bet against Cav like ever, but
Yeah.
Right.
the Alaphilippe one I guess is more surprising to me because they're not pointing it like, oh, we've got young Alaphilippe. Like of course.
Yes. That's actually a good point because it's not like they don't have a GC captain. Like,
With
why not bring
rainbow striped
Alaphilippe
jersey.
as cannon farter? Yeah.
Right. Which, if you don't have an Alaphilippe, then, why not bring both sprinters and let them just
Sure.
go to town? Like, make your entire
Right.
tour about winning stages. Holy crap, can you imagine Cav as your lead-out guy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Cav is your lead out.
And all the hype that goes along with getting that 39th win and becoming the most, the most winning
Yeah.
tour rider ever.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Maybe people are going to be talking about that decision all tour anyway, but cycling's a weird business where it's about sponsors and attention. So,
Well, and it's a team sport with
but it's
individuals.
not primarily about winning, except to the extent that winning helps sponsors.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Raise
it
your
brings
profile.
attention. But if you have
Put money
like
in your
an
pocket.
easy button, like, hey, they're going to talk about us all tour, whether we win or not.
Advertisers see cash flowing in.
It's true.
So with that, what Bahrain Victorious is doing, they like tricked the UCI and they were doping so that they become.
Everybody's talking about no such thing as bad publicity, right, Fremont?
That's right.
Right. I've said Bahrain more times this week than the last year.
Or ever, really. How many
Since
times
last
has
year when
Bahrain
they
been
raided
raided?
their
Since
hotel?
last year when they raided the hotel.
Well,
That one's also.
I'd like to take a moment to comment on Drew's technical difficulties
I
throughout
thought you were going
this.
to go to our sponsors. But
Well, take a moment, talk about our sponsors. Air, it's everywhere. Just breathe.
hey, Schwenker.
Yeah,
We
Schwenker.
love you. Good luck, buddy.
Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Yeah.
No, Drew, you have had like the most in and out internet today.
Oh my
So
god!
if this comes up with like
I don't know
8
what's going
boxes
on.
and 2 of them are
There's
blank,
three.
yeah,
There's three of
it's-
you at the
it's-
bottom of my screen right now.
It's all Drew's fault.
Took a screen grab once we got to 3 Drews.
Just
I take that one.
we'll just
I don't know what happened. The first time I couldn't even get back on. I had to restart the computer. Then when I was restarting, then the camera software wanted
we're going to
update
shout out to
itself.
our real sponsor, Verizon Wireless,
Holy
for
cow.
your internet service for Drew. Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe that sunspot
That was last Thursday's
sunspot is hitting
TTT,
Drew's house right now.
TTT adventure.
So I heard
Yeah.
through the grapevine, which is Discord and a direct message, so not so Discord, that Drew finally finished Black Widow.
I sure did. Started it and finished it. The busy week last
Wow.
week for Regions. State testing was
Exhilarating.
a busy week. It was great. It was. I asked them to give me the read aloud proctor assignments so I could read the test for the students because it keeps me busy. Because you can't have a phone in the testing room. So
No wonder
like,
you're
what
so
else am I
absent
gonna
from
do?
Discord all day.
I'd rather,
Counts your pedal strokes.
yeah.
That's right.
You
Can I
get
bring
one
my
of those
bike in?
those little bikes that go on your desk.
There you go. All right. So the question about Black Widow that I have is Florence Pugh, right? Yeah, that's all you have to say.
Yep. She was good. That was yeah. She
Is that the sister?
yeah. Now, so does she make repeat
She
appearances?
shows
She
up
does.
again.
She shows up in the
Okay.
Disney
That's good.
Plus series.
Is that the
Of
sister
somewhere.
dog? I don't know who
That
that
is,
is.
yes, that is
Right.
the sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was quite possibly the best casting in that movie,
She's very good.
including ScarJo.
Yeah.
Just
I was
saying.
gonna say the
ScarJo had to be cast, but
high praise. Yeah. No, they. Yeah, it was a good movie. I thought that it was a good backstory that had to be told. I'll be perfectly honest. The whole family storyline was probably the most interesting part about it.
Okay.
So the underlying tone of like human trafficking was a little dark for Marvel. but
sure.
It was. It was. It was.
I don't know if you know, but
the fight
things are
scenes were
starting to
really
go a
cool.
little darker in the old Marvel universe. For those who have seen Doctor Strange, which obviously Drew has not, because you haven't seen the first one, have you?
I have not. Nope, not yet. Next up is
Ooh,
Black
Black
Panther.
Good one.
Oh yeah. I did. I just finally watched Doctor Strange Multiverse. Did you like that, Dodd?
I thought it served a purpose in moving forward the story.
It served a purpose, and there were
The
scenes,
cameos,
There were acts in that were very good, but
yeah,
I felt like as a complete movie, it was
lacking.
plodding at times.
Yeah,
which is
I think
disappointing.
not to spoil too much, but the cameos in that movie is
Sure.
amazing. Which
Yeah.
anybody that's seen it will know.
And very well done. And like it wasn't too much fan servicey or anything. But
And there's a new Thor coming out now, right?
July 8th, my friend. I'm so excited. If you'd have told me that Thor would be my favorite character in the Marvel Universe and I'd be excited for his movies, I told you you're crazy. Especially after Thor 2, right?
yeah, the worst Thor.
All right. So where does Maverick fit into the Marvel universe?
It's a different universe, but it's the one where they...
Maverick is what they watch at the movie when they go.
Well, now this is going super nerdy, but if I was going to put Maverick anywhere, it'd be in the 90s X-Men comics, because
sure,
that was exactly where that fit in.
Yep.
Yeah, puffy
Shirtless
leather jackets
volleyball.
and air fighters.
But there is something supernatural about Tom Cruise. I mean,
Yeah, like
I know.
selling his soul to the devil to have the same face
Like
he's
it's-
had for the last 35 years.
Yeah.
Now, there's a rumor
Secret, right?
Scientology has a devil.
he's gone clear.
There's something.
Scientology has many devils.
The biggest of which is poverty. But regardless,
There's a rumor. Go on.
there's a rumor that he has a specific visual effects team that follows him around on movies that specifically de-ages him in every shot.
Really
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that?
interesting.
Well, he still looks good when he's on television.
Interesting.
He can
There
still
was the
play
great-
shirtless volleyball. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah.
I also heard he paid for the guy's pilot's license so he could become a pilot. The
Oh, yeah.
co-star that he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
I wonder how deep into the Scientology church that guy's in.
I was just going to say, I can see Tom Cruise leaning over and being like, take that, Travolta.
Yeah. If
I'm a fighter pilot. What are you?
a weird, creepy
my
alien
favorite South Park.
in an L. Ron Hubbard movie. That's what Travolta
man.
is.
I watched that. Had
Listen,
to watch it.
if this never airs, you'll know the Illuminati is real and Scientology has killed us all.
No, this is the part where we all sincerely apologize. We were just having some fun. It's satire.
Sorry for calling you opaque, Tom Cruise. You are clear. That was a pretty honest chuckle out of old Greg there. That's good. I'm proud of that. Pat myself on the
God,
back.
I remember now why I don't ride in the morning.
Go on.
It's because of us, isn't it?
I was doing like a 1.1 endurance ride
Yeah.
on Trainer Road, and I was in the same place as Alan.
In the pain cave?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Everything hurts.
10 more strokes. Just count to 45.
Why am I
You gotta count the
pedaling?
pedal strokes.
My heart rate's only at 120. Like, why is this so miserable?
We've missed you, Sully.
So I looked at my workout today. It's supposed to be like a 3.7 sweet spot. I was like, maybe I'll do that tonight.
Yeah. Not today,
like
Satan. Not today.
Maybe tomorrow.
Well, it's good to see everybody. I'm thankful that Alan and Fremont joined us to talk about
Absolutely.
some waffles because, man, I love waffles. There's one thing I love in life. It's waffles with syrup.
I got the real life Alan Fischer experience, and
You met up with Alan.
That's true.
and we
that's
could
right.
we could not have had a nicer group of guys there. It was him and Jay and Alan Roper. So
Former Dirt
Yes.
Jay. Yeah, former Dirt Jay.
now you're it's like being a Marine. You're not a,
Always dirt.
Oh, well,
you're never former.
that's not what Keith said.
Keith has no
Keith-
authority here.
Keith, the authority on these things.
I'm a little upset. I put Keith in timeout for an hour the
I
other night,
loved it.
and I didn't get any response from him.
He probably didn't even know.
I even sent a response gift just so he would have notification, so he would know he was in
he knew.
timeout for an hour. But
Yeah.
Here, no,
Didn't see
we'll
it.
put it right on the podcast. I think Keith actually knew he did wrong the moment he did it, and he deserved that punishment.
All right, so after this is over, I want to know what he did because I didn't see it. So,
Okay.
all right, we'll go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's okay.
Oh, there's a child in the room now.
He's asking. He lost his iPad for the week because he punched his brother in the face, and he's asking for it back.
Is this what Keith did, or is this what your
No.
child did?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean, so we have to clarify sometimes because
All right.
Well, till next
See you
week,
guys.
where we got some more fun planned. So, thanks for joining, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep, I get.
Crockett Miller,